In October 2019, the Empire State Building reopened its renovated 102nd floor observatory along with new museum exhibits, offering visitors a fresh look at a familiar landmark. But this only scratches the surface of the story that made this tower legendary. Built in just 13 months, the Empire State Building is, if not the most iconic skyscraper in the world, certainly one of the most recognizable ever built. Rising during the depths of the Great Depression, it became a symbol of hope in New York City. The question is, could a feat like this still be achieved today? Chapter 1: Race to the Sky. In the late 1920s, the city's skyline was a stage for a high-stakes competition in steel and ambition. Developers were racing to build the tallest structure on Earth, and every new proposal aimed to climb higher than the last. Skyscrapers were rapidly transforming the skyline, and height had become the ultimate symbol of modern progress. Two projects quickly emerged at the center of this rivalry: the sleek Chrysler Building and the rising 40 Wall Street. Their designs evolved constantly as each team tried to outmaneuver the other, adding floors or altering plans to claim the title of the world's tallest building. The race reached its most dramatic moment in 1929, when the Chrysler Building stunned the city by secretly assembling a stainless steel spire inside the structure and hoisting it into place, pushing the tower to a record height of 1,048 feet. But the skyline still had room for one more challenger. When the Empire State Building finally rose above Midtown in 1931, it towered to 1,250 feet and quickly earned the nickname the Eighth Wonder of the World. Of the 5 tallest buildings standing in New York today, the Empire State Building is by far the oldest, a reminder of how early this giant appeared in the race toward the sky. It would remain the tallest building on Earth for nearly 4 decades, until the first tower of the World Trade Center surpassed it in 1970. The true story, however, begins long before any steel touched the skyline. Chapter 2: The Bold Gamble. As the race for the tallest building intensified, a daring plan was already taking shape behind the scenes. The site chosen was the old Waldorf Astoria Hotel, once New York's most luxurious address, now struggling under Prohibition era and changing times. To replace it with a tower that would pierce the sky was more than ambition. It was a colossal financial gamble, even before the crash that would soon grip the nation. The visionaries behind this daring project were General Motors executive John J. Raskob and former Governor Al Smith, whose failed bid for the presidency in 1928 only fueled their determination to leave a mark on New York City. In August 1929, while the Chrysler and 40 Wall Street towers vied for supremacy, Raskob and Smith announced their plans for what would become the Empire State Building, setting a new standard for height, accompanied with great risk. Forming the Empire State Corporation, Raskob and Smith recruited colleagues and installed Smith as president, leveraging his political influence and promotional skill. The team purchased the 197.5 by 425-foot lot for $16 to $17 million, a staggering sum at the time. They prepared to replace the fading glamour of the Waldorf Astoria with a tower that would redefine the skyline. The gamble was enormous, but so was the vision. To emphasize the building's grandeur, they chose a name tied to New York itself. The state is nicknamed the Empire State due to its historical significance, economic power, and cultural influence. The nickname is often traced back to a 1785 letter from George Washington, in which he praised New York as the seat of the empire. Washington's recognition acknowledged the state's strategic importance, from its central location between New England and the southern colonies, to control of the Hudson River and access to key ports, making the name a perfect reflection of the building's ambition. And behind this financial daring lay another secret ingredient, a design so precise it would allow this monumental dream to rise faster than anyone thought possible. Chapter 3. From Sketch to Skyscraper. To bring the Empire State Building to life, the Empire State Corporation turned to architects Richmond H. Shreve and William Lamb, soon to be joined by Arthur Loomis Harmon. They designed the building in the sleek Art Deco style, which emphasized geometric forms. Originally envisioned as a 65-story skyscraper, they decided to add extra height to surpass the Chrysler Building, which had reached 1,048 feet with its spire. The architects revised the design, adding more office floors, penthouse, observatory, and a docking station. This brought the total to 102 floors, including mechanical and service levels, while still following city zoning laws. The final silhouette, narrowing toward the top, was even said to be inspired by the shape of a pencil, giving the tower its instantly recognizable profile. With a mere 21 months between the first sketches and the planned opening on May 1st, 1931, Shreve and Lamb devised a layout centered on a core of elevators and utilities, surrounded by a 28-foot perimeter of rentable office space. Limestone and chrome nickel steel were chosen for durability and cost. Meanwhile, demolition of the old Waldorf Astoria Hotel was slower and harder than expected. Its thick walls and the large amount of rubble caused delays and extra costs. Excavation for a 40-foot deep foundation also presented challenges, but the team worked through them. With the design finalized and the foundation ready, the real challenge was about to begin. Chapter 4. The 13-month miracle. The Empire State Building's speed was made possible by structural engineer Homer Gage Balcom, who designed a steel framework of 210 columns, including 12 that ran uninterrupted from foundation to top. The floors were made of reinforced terracotta, a type of baked clay material that is both lightweight and strong. As the building rose, its upper sections were gradually built smaller than the lower ones, giving it a tapered shape that helped keep it stable and efficient. Construction began on March 17, 1930, with the first columns set in the foundation. Materials: limestone, marble, brick, wood, cement, and mortar were delivered by trucks and loaded onto manually operated railway carts running along tracks on each floor. Steel columns were marked with codes indicating which derrick, a type of crane used for heavy lifting, would hoist them into place, allowing crews to stack columns at a rate of 4.5 stories per week. At peak production, 3,400 men worked on the site. The girders and beams not only supported the structure, but also served as walkways for ironworkers and riveters, enabling them to coordinate tasks with incredible precision. The building's major divisions were finished days or weeks ahead of schedule. The steel frame, concrete floors, and the exterior stone and metal were in place, which allowed work on plumbing, wiring, and other finishing works to begin quickly. Smith also used his political influence to speed construction. He lobbied for building code changes, increasing steel load limits and elevator speed, which sped construction. The dirigible mast was tested, but failed. Its space on the 86th floor became a tea room, and the 102nd floor became a second observation deck. By the end of 13 months, the Empire State Building had risen from an empty, demolished lot to a record-breaking skyscraper, a true miracle of design and human coordination. Interestingly, shortly after the new towers were erected, architects proposed a plan to add 11 floors to the building. The idea was to demolish its 16-story top section and replace it with a new design that would stretch the building to 113 stories and 1,495 feet, surpassing both the World Trade Center and the Sears Tower. The plan was quickly abandoned, however. Due to cost concerns and worries, it would alter the building's iconic look, leaving the Empire State Building's legendary silhouette intact. However, life on the construction site definitely reached dizzying new heights. Chapter 5: Workers in the Sky. The Empire State Building was more than a marvel. It was a story of the people who made it real. Among the thousands on site were ironworkers, many immigrants from Europe, and a remarkable group of Mohawk steelworkers from Canada, famed for their fearlessness at extreme heights. While exact records vary, it is estimated that around 150 Mohawk men took part in the project, bringing with them a long tradition of working on high steel. Often relying on little more than a harness and their skill, they became some of the most trusted workers on the project. Work on the tower demanded perfect coordination. Ironworkers moved carefully across beams, while teams of 4 riveters worked in unison, tossing and securing glowing hot fasteners with precision. The Mohawk workers, nicknamed the Skywalkers, brought generations of experience building bridges and high steel, making them essential. Their courage and teamwork allowed the Empire State Building to rise faster than anyone imagined. Even with the risks, the crews pressed on with remarkable discipline. Their determination and skill transformed a daunting challenge into one of the fastest and safest high-rise constructions in history. Crews worked in all kinds of weather, from sweltering heat in summer to icy winds in winter, climbing scaffolds and girders that swayed hundreds of feet above the streets. Lunch breaks were often taken sitting on beams, with their legs dangling over empty air. Every day demanded focus and nerves of steel. Despite the danger, these jobs were highly sought after, offering wages of around $4 to $6 a day, roughly $70 to $120 today, which made them valuable opportunities at the time. Photographer Lewis Hine captured some of the era's most iconic images of men working on the skyscraper, immortalizing their bravery for generations to come. Tragically, not every day ended safely. According to official records, 5 workers lost their lives during construction. Falls into shafts or accidents with machinery took them too soon. Yet the remaining crews pressed on with remarkable discipline, their determination and skill transforming a daunting challenge into one of the fastest and safest high-rise constructions in history. Today, the Empire State Building stands not just as a triumph of architecture and engineering, but as a tribute to the men who literally worked in the sky to make it possible. As the last rivets were hammered and the framework was solid, the Empire State Building was ready to rise beyond construction. Chapter 6: A Tower of Hope. Finished in 1931, the Empire State Building rose during the heart of the Great Depression. At first, its office floors remained largely empty, and the building was widely criticized as an investment flop, a massive gamble that seemed unlikely to pay off in a struggling economy. So many floors remained empty that it became known as the Empty State Building, and it would take nearly 20 years before the skyscraper became truly profitable. Tragedy struck early as well. On July 28, 1945, a B-25 bomber flying through thick fog crashed into the north side of the building between the 78th and 88th floors, tearing a hole in the structure and igniting a fire high above the streets. 14 people died, 3 crew members on the plane and 11 inside the building. But the toll could have been far worse, as the crash occurred on a Saturday morning when most offices were closed. Amid the chaos, one story stood out. Betty Lou Oliver, an elevator operator, survived a fall of over 1,000 feet when the cables of her elevator snapped, one of the longest elevator falls anyone has ever survived. Despite the destruction, the building's structure held firm, demonstrating the incredible strength of its design. Over time, the Empire State Building became far more than an office tower. Its soaring silhouette inspired awe across the city and the nation, becoming a symbol of resilience, ambition, and the human spirit. It also entered popular culture, most famously as the backdrop for King Kong, cementing its place in the imagination of audiences worldwide. Crowds flocked to its observatories, and its presence dominated the skyline, showing that careful planning and vision could overcome even the harshest challenges. Decades later, the Empire State Building remains one of the most recognizable skyscrapers in the world. Its story is not just about steel or stone, but about the innovation and perseverance that turned a risky investment into a towering icon of human achievement. Though newer towers soar higher, the Empire State Building's place in history is untouchable. Come with me to uncover more fascinating tales in this next video.